Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Social Media Today, brought to you by Social Cycle. We talk about all things social media, news, tips, tricks, and hacks to help you get the full advantage of social media. I'm your host, Mohit. Hi, welcome to Social Media Today, a podcast brought to you by Social Cycle. Today I have a very special guest from a connection that I met through a connection I made on social media. You have to practice social selling in all aspects of your life. Now, Seth, I can tell a lot about you, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. My name is Seth Rich. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas, and I am a professional clothier, which just means I get to meet with guys and I get to suit them up in every aspect of their life, whether that be suits and they're going to a fancy party or a big business meeting, or I get to dress them for going to the block party with all the neighbors.
That's awesome. And so, being a clothier, wow, I've never heard of that before. I'm guessing that your Instagram is quite fresh, and I mean, I saw it, and like the clothes look really good. Like, do you use Instagram in your personal and like your business front?
Um, a couple, uh, a couple of occasions, yeah. For the most part, it's really just for fun, and with social selling, that's kind of just like an added plus that it can add to your clientele, which it does. But the biggest thing is just keeping it very genuine and keeping it very like, hey, this is what I do. If you like it,
You
double
like it?
tap.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So.
that's awesome. Would you mind sharing like sort of what was the process behind like socially selling on Instagram? Because you sell clothes, and clothes are a very visual thing, and I mean, frankly, Instagram is basically meant for that, and a lot of fashion bloggers are there. So I'm curious to hear your stories about social selling on Instagram.
Of course, yeah. Well, and while it doesn't pertain to Instagram, a lot of it goes further than that, and it's pretty much like the same thing on LinkedIn as well. Maybe some of the captions you use are just a little bit different depending on what audience you're targeting. But when it comes to Instagram specifically, I mean, it really just starts with, hey, you got a cool outfit on, or one of my partners I work with has a cool outfit on. I pull out the camera. I've got a cheap little $365 camera that when you directly send the photos to my phone and I can edit them out and just make them look really crisp. Um, just really just has to grab people's attention. Social selling by definition is just using a social presence um, to sell, and it just kind of depends on what approach you want to take. In mine specifically, I like to take a much more like just growing awareness of who I am, and just like, hey, this picture came out very cleanly, very crisp, and it catches someone's attention. And hey, look at the awesome pattern on this suit. And so people double tap, and then eventually they just remember who you are.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's true. I mean, with Instagram, like I mean, in your case, do you post a lot of stories right now on Instagram?
I do. So there'll be a combination of either reposting other people who I know who are in the same business, like who work within my same company. They're putting out content, so I'm sharing it. They're sharing my content. Stir the pot, so to speak. And then as well as just my day-to-day life. If I'm meeting with a client like I was today, okay, first fitting went great with his new suit. We posted a story about it, tagged him in it, and he reshared it with all of his followers. Um, so stories are a big part of it, just because people can view them quick. But you have to be careful. And you have to coordinate those with the posts that you make on your general feed as well.
So, do you like from what I've observed, like stories they seem very refined, but the stories that I'm attracted to just as a consumer are ones that are more behind the scenes. Do you ever A/B test like some of the stories that you post unofficially, and what sort of results have you seen with that?
So a kind of half and half. So I do A/B test every once in a while in the sense of like if I notice that a certain type of post, if I do on my story anyways, if I do um, a really really clean suit that one of my partners down in Houston had her client fitted in, and I reposted on my story, and then right after it, I post a random story of a Rolex that really catches people's attention. They end up going back. They end up looking back at the suit, and then they end up clicking on my page. Seen a little bit of an increase with that. But for the main part, yeah, if I'm working in my office specifically with my other partners, or more of like I've got my camera set up, I've got all my lighting systems set up, and then it's kind of like a quick clip behind like, hey, we're shooting a couple photos today in these brand new outfits, and I behind me have the outfits. Then yeah, that's very popular as well.
Have you ever used the DMs to like do outreach on it, or is that mostly stuck to LinkedIn?
That specifically outbound is going to be LinkedIn. I do get a lot of inbound off of Instagram though. I have two new clients booked for this weekend and the next to meet with them to talk about their wedding because they saw me repost someone's wedding suit that we did. They're like, "Hey, can you do my suit? I have my own fabric." I'm like, "Sure."
Interesting. Do you think that you would find I'm just spitballing here, but do you think that you would find a lot of success with Instagram? I'm curious to see if you've tried outbounding on it.
I have on occasion. Generally, it's if someone refers me to somebody and they're like, "Hey, so and so," if Justin refers me to Nicole because she wants a new pantsuit, he's like, "Okay, what's her handle?" I'll reach out to them on Instagram. I have done that before, but that's very specific in the sense that someone's referred me to somebody and I'm just reaching out like, "Hey, so and so mentioned for me to," or suggested I reach out.
So like on LinkedIn then, since it seems like most of your outreach is through there, what does your profile look like? I'm curious to hear like what your headline is, what your bio is, what your company experience section is, and if you have any endorsements.
Of course, yeah, and that's actually a really, really good point. The biggest thing, I mean, it's social and it catch people's eye. So it's very, very congruent. My Instagram and my LinkedIn, the probably only one of the main things is one my headline and my picture. And that's simply because on Instagram I want to become off as a lot more casual, a lot more like I'm not just some page that's reposting photos from other accounts. But on Instagram, it's just going to have my headshot, very professional. And in my bio, or I guess headline, so to speak, it has to be very clear and concise. So it's something along the lines of like bringing luxury or the luxury of bespoke suits to busy executives. Made to measure. I'm a professional image consultant, whether that be with casual wear or professional suits and tuxes. And after that, I'm just going to have information about what I do. A lot of people on LinkedIn, they use it as a like, this is what I do. Like I'm the CEO of this company, and these are my responsibilities. Whereas my bio, my about page, and my experience underneath um, my title as a professional clothier and part owner of the Tom James Company is going to say like, this is how I'm going to help you. This isn't necessarily like what I do. This is how I'm benefit added to you. So a lot of times when I connect with people on LinkedIn, I mean, we all get notifications when someone looks at our profile, or we can at least see who's looked at our profile. Um, Almost every single time they look at my profile. So that way, eventually, when I do reach out to them, they have some sense of who I am. They have some sense of what I do. And when I say my name on the phone, they should. I mean, I would say 85% of the time they recognize who I am.
Gotcha. And then so you'll basically do a bunch of social touches before you reach out to them on the phone.
Exactly. Yeah. So whether that be like just a simple connection message, like, "Hey, notice we have similar connection, or we have a couple of mutual connections, and we're in the same area. Would appreciate a connection." And then when they connect with me, I'm just like, "Hey, thank you for connecting." Because later on down the line, if they are qualified, I will reach out to them over the phone, or we will reach out to them over email if I can find either or on the LinkedIn. And at that point, it's very organic. I feel like these days people will tie a little too much into social selling in the sense that like as soon as they connect with them, they spam the person they connected with their information. Like, "Hey, this is what I do. If you're interested, let me know." And that's just too much. If I were
It
to do
comes out.
that,
It's salesy.
yeah,
It just
salesy, exactly.
it's bad taste.
Exactly. I know if I do that and then I call that person, they'll be like, "Nah, I'm okay. Like, I'm not interested." But if I let it go organically and I'm like, "I'm actually thankful for connecting with you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm probably going to call you in a couple months anyways. There's no need for me to try to spam you with my information um, up front and then just turn you off from my services altogether."
So when you connect with someone, do you often